Good evening. Welcome to the April 16th Oakdale Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. Welcome to all that are here. Julie, would you please take roll?
Yes. Commissioner Berth,
Here.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Here.
Commissioner Giacoletto is not here today. Commissioner Giannini,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Moore, here, Commissioner Shore, here.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Commissioners, did you have a chance to look at the agenda for today?
Yes.
Everyone? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Carrie, second. Glenn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passed. The approval of minutes. Did everybody get to look at last month's minutes? Any questions? Concerns? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from February 20th, 2024?
All motion.
Jan, second.
Second.
Second, Carrie. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now, we have the open forum. That's 3 minutes to anyone in the public that would like to say hi or any concerns. So is there anyone that would like to come up and talk to us? All right. Okay, all right. No one's here. So let's move on to old business. Is there any old business that anyone needs to have around? Very good. On to the new business. We have advisory body training, and I'd like to invite Administrator Volkers up to tell us what's happening.
Good afternoon, good evening, I should say.
Good
I'm Chris
evening.
Volker, City Administrator. I haven't met some of you, I've met most of you, but thank you for having us today. We are here to talk about Robert's Rules of Order, proper meeting information and etiquette, open meeting laws. We've got our city attorney, Jim Thompson here, and Sarah Ludwig, our city clerk, and we're gonna kind of tag team this, okay? Please interrupt me, ask questions. I'll pause every once in a while too, because I tend to just go on. So we'll make sure that you have a chance to ask any questions that you have. Really what this is about is for years and years, we've been asked, how are we supposed to run the meetings? We come into these roles and we just don't know. And government follows very kind of strict rules, right? And guidelines for this kind of thing. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to do it once with every commission. You're our second one out of 5. And then for any new members, they're appointed every July 1st, starting July 1st, we'll do a separate one. So it's not like you're gonna have to go through this every year. We'll pull them out separately and do it on the side. So this is your one. You can always come back. You might not ask me to do that, but we were glad to if you want to. So with that, should I just jump right in? Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so what we're gonna cover today is we've got some city information, we're gonna talk about boards and commissions 101. Basically, what does that mean in the public world that we live in? Meeting information, legal information, because you're a public body and therefore you're subject to the open meeting laws. So we're gonna go through that. And that I encourage you to ask questions of the city attorney because you'll wanna not accidentally make mistakes that could cause legal problems, okay? Communications, we'll talk about how to communicate properly and what the right way is. Much like I do with the city council, there's certain kind of protocols that we follow, so we'll talk about that same kind of protocol for you guys in communicating with your staff liaisons, okay? And then next steps. City information, so the mission statement, excuse me, what do we got up there? Okay, our mission statement is to meet the city's mission statement. This goes way back, but currently it is to meet the evolving community-wide needs of citizens through the delivery of top-notch municipal services in a fiscally responsible manner. And then we have 6 core values. We quote these core values every time we interview somebody, every time we hire somebody, and as we do all employee training or any other opportunities, we really want to strive and live by these core values from a staff perspective and how we treat the public. And in your role, then you're also stewards of these values as well. Respect, responsibility, sustainability, excellence, integrity, and innovation. Those are the 6. Oakdale City Council, as you're very familiar with their council members. They have all nice new pictures. That is Mayor Zabel on the left, Councilmember Herr, Councilmember Ingebrigtsen, Councilmember Morcombe, who is here, and your council liaison, and you know him, and Councilmember Willenbring. And her name used to be Olson, so not to be confused, okay? Our city org chart. So this talks about kind of how the structure works, and this is also in our city code. And really what it shows is we've got the residents, the overall the taxpayers, our bosses, right, the residents. Mayor and council are elected by the residents. You've got the prosecuting attorney. We hire the prosecuting attorney through a contract, and then he works very closely with the mayor, council, and I. And then we've got the advisory boards, which are you guys, and you report directly to the council. They appoint you, and we're just here to support you, staff. We have no authority or anything. The council has the authority over the commissions and boards. And then me, as city administrator, I oversee the operations of the city. And so all the departments and department heads report up through me. You've got the pictures here. You've got Andy Gitzloff, our development director, community development director. You must have met him along the way. Communications manager, Lori Polkerbeck. A lot of you know her, Lori. New finance director, Kyle Stansica. He used to be the assistant finance director. Now he's been promoted. Fire chief, who's also acting public works director, which doesn't seem like it goes together, but it's working. He's helping us out. We have a vacancy. Human Resource Director, Melanie, Police Chief, Nick Newton, and Recreation Superintendent, Julie. So boards and commissions 101. Are you going to go over these? Sarah will take these, and then I'll be back at the end to wrap it up. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Probably not, but you can. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, City Administrator Volkers. As much as I'd love for you to take this, this is my section in the slide deck. So I am going to talk to you about the boards and commissions. Up on the slides here, we have 5 advisory bodies for the city: the Tree Board, the Planning Commission, the Parks and Recreation Commission, Economic Development Commission, and then the Environmental Management Commission. And we also have staff liaison or liaisons for each board or commission. So we have Luke McClanahan, he's our city planner, and he oversees the Planning Commission as their staff liaison. We obviously have Recreation Superintendent Julie Williams, Parks Superintendent Jeff Klusling, who are the staff liaisons for the Parks and Recreation Commission. And then we have Max Losi, a community development specialist, who is the staff liaison for the Economic Development Commission. He also does assist in the Planning Commission. And then lastly, we have Hannah Dunn, who is also a community development specialist, and she is the staff liaison for the Environmental Management Commission. We do have one vacancy for our staff liaison, and that will be filled for our city forester, and he or she will oversee the duties for the tree board. And then why does the city have advisory bodies? So we have two reasons listed up here. So of course we want our boards and commissions to advise the city council, and we also want to provide a way for residents to have meaningful participation in city decisions. And then there are also guiding documents for our boards and commissions. The first one being the city code. So each commission or board has a dedicated section in our city code talking about your specific board or commission. We also have a city policy. It's CC 002, City Council Advisory Boards and Commissions, and that is a document that goes over processes and procedures specifically for our advisory bodies. And then lastly, this is something new. We did hear feedback that this would be helpful for our commissioners and board members. It's a handbook, and we will be disseminating that out shortly via email, and it'll be a guide for general policies and procedures that apply to you. So advisory bodies do a few things. They do report and comment, which is providing feedback to the city on initiatives, goals, and annual plan and other projects. They make recommendations to the city council. And they also can act in ways like participating in city initiatives, projects, volunteering at events, that sort of thing. So the advisory body work can be initiated a few ways: through the board and commission itself, also through the city council, and then lastly, through our city administrator. So what is a work plan? I know that's something new for the Parks and Recreation Commission. A few of our other commissions have been utilizing one previously, but it is a guide that focuses the work of the advisory body during the meetings and also throughout the year. And it can detail ongoing annual items or provide a roadmap for specific projects that your commission might have. And annually, the board or commission will draft the work plan with feedback from the city council. And that will likely occur at a workshop annually with the city council. And then once that work plan is finalized with that feedback, the specific advisory body will then formally adopt it. So there are some things that the advisory bodies do not do. They do not direct the staff of, they do not direct the work of city staff. They do not take responsibility for financial performance of any city facility or program, as commissions and boards do not have financial authority. And they do not speak on behalf of the city or advisory body without permission or discussion prior. Now, there are a few special roles within advisory bodies. There's a chair, and that person is elected annually at the first meeting of the year, and they also act as the presiding officer at each meeting. The chairperson is responsible for keeping the meeting moving, assuming everyone has reviewed the materials ahead of time. There's also a vice chair, and they are also elected annually at the first meeting of the year, and they will preside in the absence of the chair. There is a staff liaison, which I went over previously, and that is a city staff member who will support the board or commission. They'll attend all of the meetings. They will take part in any discussion as applicable. They'll arrange making sure that the meeting is recorded, and they will prepare the agenda and then, of course, take the meeting minutes during the meeting. There is a council liaison, and that is a member of the city council, and they're assigned to a board and commission. They will attend the meetings as well, and they can provide updates from the city council or just city information in general, and then also they can take information from their board or commission and then bring it back up to the city council. And then lastly, an ex officio member is a specific designation of a member, such as a student, but they are non-voting. And then lastly, looking through the annual calendar for the advisory bodies. So at that first meeting, like I said, you'll vote for your officers. In January or February, depending on schedules, there'll be an appreciation event with the city council, and that is likely when you'll discuss your annual work plan. In July, we will have our new member orientation after they've been appointed, and that's also when new terms will begin for anyone who is reappointed. And then in the fourth quarter, you'll work as a commission to develop kind of that first draft of your annual work plan. And then I'll move into commission meetings, what you need to know more specifically about meetings. So there are several types of meetings, but the one that will apply to advisory bodies in most cases will be a regular meeting. So that's going to be a meeting on an established cadence, and that is the most common type. The meetings for the Parks and Recreation Commission take place every third Tuesday of the month, except January, March, June, and December. I know that was a change from from the previous schedule. And it's at 7 p.m. right here in our council chambers. The staff liaison will take the minutes during the meeting, and then there are also other clerical staff that help out with that. And then, of course, the meetings are recorded. So the key components of minutes are listed here, and these do follow Robert's Rules of Order as outlined. for minute taking. So the minutes will include the meeting name, date, place, and time, who is in attendance, the approval or corrections of any previous minutes, any motions that were made, including who made the motion and then also who provided a second, a summary of what happened, any other action that took place at the meeting, and then generally speaking, you'll want to record what was done, not what was said.
Sarah?
Yes.
One question, can you go
Yeah.
back to that
Yeah.
slide? The summary of what happened, I guess we don't really do that,
Yeah.
so explain that a little more.
Yeah, so I know that one's a little different. So some cities, I believe, do kind of a transcription style where they'll write out kind of what everything was said. For us, we like to do a little bit more of high level or questions that were asked and answered. Also, any sort of next steps or action items. That's what we like to provide as a summary. So you can get, the gist of the conversation, maybe any clarifying information, but we're not, giving you he said this, she said this, back and forth conversation. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
didn't know if we needed to do anything with that
It's-
while the meeting's going,
Oh.
summarize anything at that time. So,
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're good. Julie can, handle that if needed. But typically, if there's a presentation, unless there's questions, it's going to be a really high-level summary of that presentation.
good. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions so far? Okay. So the agenda, there's a few things to know about that. We do have our staff liaisons in consultation with the chair will create the agenda. We do ask that commissioners and board members come prepared, which is really just reviewing the agenda and materials prior to the meeting, and then coming with any questions or comments or emailing your staff liaison prior to the meeting to get any questions answered. And then we do ask that the agenda is followed, which is also your order of business, and I'll go to that slide next. And that is, like I said before with the minutes, you have a header, and that's going to include the type of meeting and the date, the time, and the place. And then you're going to have your body in your agenda, and that's the call to order, which the chair will call the meeting to order. And then we'll have a call of roll, which shall be verbal and done by the staff liaison. We do ask that just so that it's clear who is not in attendance, as they obviously don't respond when called upon. There will be the approval of the agenda, and that is going to be as presented or as amended. The approval of the minutes, again, as presented or amended. And then the open forum, which is something new for some of our boards and commissions, actually all of them, I think. And we do ask that you follow our city policy, which is MIS 014, just like our council does. You open it up, even if there may not be anyone here. We just want to make sure everybody watching or in attendance or even residents know that there's an opportunity to speak at these meetings. Under the Parks and Recreation Commission review, we have old business. So this is going to be anything brought before the commission at one point, and it might be coming back for an update or further discussion. We have the Parks and Recreation Commission review, the new business. So that's going to be formally coming before the commission for the first time. Under other, you have staff liaison updates, so your staff liaisons can provide any updates on other matters or anything that they find relevant. The council liaison update will be provided by your council liaison, and that may be updates on the city council or other city matters. And then lastly, of course, we have our adjournment, and that does require a motion and a second. Attendance and recruitment. So attendance is very important to perform the work of the commission or the board. Chronic absences may lead to member removal. Current commission members, city council, city staff, and staff liaisons all play a role in recruiting members, as ideally the advisory body's rosters remain full. A quorum is the minimum number of voting members that must be present in order for an advisory body to conduct business. If a quorum is present at the beginning of a meeting, the quorum must be maintained for the advisory body to continue to conduct business. All right, ethical and respectful. Oh, yes.
Just a question I should probably know the answer to.
Okay.
But for a quorum, how many people does it take?
How many people are on the
Well,
park?
to have a quorum, is it 4 people? Is it 6 people? How?
Yeah, so it's over half. Yeah, 51%. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But that's just including the, in our case, Parks and Recs Commission, so.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to get at when I asked how many, just to give you your specific example. But yeah, so you have 7, right? Okay. Yeah, 4, thank you, yep. All right, with ethical and respectful conduct, things to avoid, speaking over or cutting off another individual, insulting, disparaging, or putting down people or their ideas, bullying other members by displaying a pattern of belittlement, making demeaning, judging, or patronizing comments. We do ask that the chair maintain order throughout the meeting. And then some things to strive for, using Robert's Rules of Order, treating people with courtesy, politeness, and kindness, encouraging others to express their opinions and ideas, listening to what others have to say, and knowing that there will be differences in opinions. And the standards of appearance and etiquette, business casual dress is appropriate, speaking clearly into the microphone to ensure the best audio quality. Do not speak until called upon by the chair, again, to just help maintain that order. And then remaining quiet when the on-air sign is turned on prior to the start of the meeting, and then also right after the adjournment. And with that, I'll ask if there are any questions. Otherwise, I will turn the time over to our city attorney, Jim Thompson.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Jim Thompson. I'm a city attorney. I'm in private practice. The city hires our firm to do the civil legal work for the city. So nice to meet you all, at least in person for a chance. And I know it takes when you first got appointed, I'm not sure you ever thought there were going to be new laws that applied to you that didn't apply before. I doubt that they probably didn't give you that briefing. So what my main goal tonight is to just make you aware on a high level of 4 different laws that govern you now that you're a member of a board, but that didn't govern you when you were just in your private practice. Now, the first thing covers Robert's Rules. It's not a law, but it's what you run your meeting by. I'm just going to play a short, simple video. The reason I do this is
We rely on. Just a sec, it's not up there. Give us just a moment. Just press this space bar.
space. Okay. Yes, okay. So you might, sometimes Robert's Rules scares people. The purpose of Robert's Rules is to really have you run efficient meetings, simple meetings, not to complicate things. When you see this stuff in Congress and all that stuff, sometimes people use it to complicate things. That's really not the purpose of the rules. It's to make it simple. So here's a fairly straightforward and simple video showing you. Now this is a little bit, this video is in the context of a large group meeting, like a townhouse association or something about that, like that, but the same rules apply.
Of order to ensure that all meetings run effectively. This video will go through the basics of Robert's Rules and how they work to make meetings more efficient. To keep meetings on track, all orders of business are organized in an agenda, that lists the various items that will be discussed. At the beginning of our meetings, members will vote on the adoption of this agenda. Only after the agenda is adopted can the meeting proceed. At the core of Robert's Rules is the creation of motions, which are formal proposals for an organization's membership to take a stance or take action on a certain issue. To make a motion, you must first obtain the floor. To do so, you must wait for the chairperson to call on you after the last speaker has spoken. When making a motion, ensure that it is clear, concise, and stated in the affirmative. This is not the time to elaborate on your motion or try to motivate for it. You will get the opportunity to justify your motion during the discussion period. However, before discussion can begin, another individual must second your motion. Otherwise, it is lost. Note, you don't have to be in support of a motion in order to second it. Seconding simply means that you would like to see further debate and discussion happen. If your motion has been moved and seconded, it is placed before members for consideration and debate. The mover is always allowed to speak first and is given the opportunity to justify their motion. During discussion, only one speaker may speak at a time. At any point during the discussion, an individual can move to amend or modify a motion, saying, "I move to amend the motion," followed by the changes they wish to make. After all discussion and amendments have taken place, members will vote by a show of hands whether or not they support the motion. If the majority of members vote yes, then the motion passes.
So I hit that again to stop it, just go to the next one. Got it? So the one thing that's different in there, when they say they vote by a show of hands, that's not how you vote. You vote by affirmative, yes or no. So that's the one thing that's different. So anyway, that's all you need to know about Robert's Rules right there. Now, the role of the chairperson is slightly different, both for Robert's Rules and the conduct of your meeting. The chair's job is to preside at all the meetings and generally ensures that the group reviews and acts upon the items that are on the agenda. And chair is expected to ensure that decisions are made in a timely manner, yet be careful not to limit discussion, assuring that both members of the public and the board or commission members have an opportunity to be heard. So, and with respect when it comes to motions, normally your staff report, if there's a motion that's going to be appropriate, there's going to be a proposed motion in the staff report in most cases, and you don't have to follow that, but it's at least a guide to how you might want to proceed. So enough about Robert's Rules. But happy to answer any questions on that. All right, so let's go to the first law that, and Chris already mentioned it, that now affects you as a member of a board or commission. It's the open meeting law, which I'm sure you've probably heard of. The purpose of the open meeting law is to prohibit actions from being taken at secret meetings. It ensures the public's right to be informed, and it allows the public an opportunity to present its views to the public. Pretty common sense stuff. Now, the open meeting law actually, I don't know, I'm not sure how long the doggone statute's been in place, a long time, okay? I kid this all the time, actually, when I give this presentation to the city council, you think that a statute that's called the open meeting law, the one thing it might have in the statute would be a definition of a meeting, but it doesn't, okay? So the open meeting law statute does not have a definition of a meeting. So it's defined by case law from a 1983 court decision that defined a meeting as a gathering of a quorum or more of the city council at, okay, in this case, it's or Parks and Rec Commission, at which you decide, discuss, receive information as a group on matters relating to city business, right? The one thing you will not see in that, you don't see in that decision, and that definition is, it doesn't say that you have to decide. If you discuss or receive information as a group, but don't make a decision, that's still receiving information, okay? So you sometimes might hear someone say, well, it can't be a meeting because we didn't make any decision, we didn't take any action. That's not true under Minnesota law. If you just discuss city business and there's a quorum present, 4 or more, that's a meeting. Now, the one thing that did not exist in 1983 were electronic well, maybe some electronics, but I don't think there was a way of holding electronic gathering. So obviously, over the years, things changed. This definition didn't change, but we've now got emails. Let's go to emails first, okay? So the question is, can they potentially be a violation of the open meeting law? And I'll just give you the high-level legal issue on here without getting into too many details, but there's actually a little conflict on that. There's a Court of Appeals decision, the O'Keefe one that I cite here, but it's unpublished, which means it's not binding, that said emails can't be a meeting because they're not back and forth communications. And then there's an IPAD opinion. IPAD is a state agency that gives opinions on Data Practices Act, open meeting laws, and they issued an opinion back in 2012 where they concluded they could potentially be a violation of the open meeting law. The rationale for the court decision was that email exchanges aren't meetings because the court decision appears to assume that the law applies only to in-person meetings. And the statute on remote participation in meetings, there is a statute that allows, in certain instances, remote participation, requires that the public be able to hear all discussions, and therefore the legislature assumed that meetings involved only oral communications. It's a little bit of a stretch there, but that's what they, and so that court concluded that open meeting law does not apply to written communications like an email. In the IPAD opinion, the issue there was it was a joint powers entity. It was the Metro Gang Task Force, and it concerned the need for and the contents of a press release that they wanted to issue in response to something that had been published. They separately emailed the chair, and the email put together a press release and sent it out. And someone complained to the state, and the state concluded, no, there had to have been a meeting, otherwise the chair would not have known what to say. And because even though it was an email, that's a serial, S-E-R-I-A-L, communications, and therefore it can be an open meeting law violation. In that case, they concluded there was an open meeting law violation. So quickly on this, my advice always is don't rely on the Court of Appeals decision. With respect to the open meeting law, treat emails or tweets or text messages or anything else like a phone call. Okay, so a phone call would clearly be a meeting because it's an oral communication. So if the chair were to call you up on the phone and say, what do you think about this? That's clearly a meeting, okay? So if you think of it in that context, think of emails in the same context of don't, and I'll get to a second on that. So don't engage in email conversations, serial or otherwise, between more than one commission member. So, and what the problem is on this is even a one-way email can somehow so a one-way email is not a violation of the open meeting law, okay? Even if you sent it to everybody else. What the problem is it has a tendency to start a discussion, the old reply to all button gets hit, and people start talking back and forth with each other. So avoid it, work through staff if you have questions or you want to communicate to one another. Probably the biggest thing on emails, more so than the open meeting law, I mean, I don't want to downplay the open meeting law, but the main thing to remember is that emails between commission members are almost always going to be public data. And I'm going to get to that statute just in a second. So when you write emails, whether it's to staff or keep that in the back of your mind, before you became appointed and you sent an email, nobody was going to have a right to see it, right? And so you could kind of be as candid as you wanted to be. When you send an email in the public setting, you can still be as candid as you want to be, but just remember that if somebody ever were to make a Data Practices Act request, somebody would be able to see that. And in some situations, it could be embarrassing or just, look bad from appearances wise. Okay, so that brings us to the Data Practices Act. Second law that now applies to you because you're a Board of Commission member. So government data, Data Practices Act governs government data for all practical purposes. That means data that you exchange relating to city business, okay? The thing to keep in mind is the definition of government data does not depend on where the data is located. So if it's on your personal computer or your personal cell phone or a city-issued one, it doesn't matter the location. If it's a text or email dealing with city business, it's government data, no matter where it is located. So I know some people probably have the impression that, well, if it's on my phone and, that's my phone, it's not government data. It's not where the location is, it's what the subject matter is. So keep that in the back of your mind. So, so if a communication relates to the performance of your official duties, it's government data, whether it's an email, text, tweet, or voicemail. So it does not depend on the location, and it applies to personal devices. All right. The staff handles, the Park and Rec Commission very rarely gets involved in this, and if you ever were, staff would handle this. So if there was some confidential information you were supposed to get for some reason, they would work with our office to make sure that, it was redacted and you didn't get access to private data. Now, the one, this would be unlikely to come before your commission, but there is one provision in the statute about property complaint data. When somebody makes a complaint about property, a lot of times these come to the city council or could come to the planning commission, maybe perhaps to your commission if it had to do with a neighbor living next to a park or something. But the thing to keep in mind about that is the identities, which means the names, addresses, and any other identifying information of a person who registers a complaint with the city concerning violations of state law, local ordinances concerning the use of real property are private. So if you ever happen to get one of those, just keep in mind that the identity of that person is private, not the subject of it, but the identity of it is. Again, probably won't happen to you, but just be aware of it. All right, so third law, conflict of interest. A conflict of interest is if a member has a financial interest in or may receive a financial benefit as a result of an advisory body action. So that's the main type of conflict of interest. If you would happen to have a financial interest in anything, that would become before the board. If you do, you cannot participate in those matters. If you think you have one, disclose it or abstain from discussion or voting. If you ever have a question on this, check with Julie, and she can check with me. It rarely comes up, but keep that in mind. There is another type of conflict that doesn't come up all the time, but the example I use is that if you're in your outside life, you're a president of a nonprofit organization, okay? And that organization came to the park board for some, recommendation, and you don't have a financial interest, but the question is, wait a minute, I'm the chair of this organization that's applying for something to the Park and Rec Commission. What hat am I wearing here? So in those situations, you most likely should also recuse yourself. So certainly to avoid an appearance of impropriety that, if it's, if it's something that you're that actively involved in and they're coming to you for some approval. All right. That's it, comes up very rarely with boards and commissions, but just be aware of it, all right? And then finally, the gift law. Actually, of all these laws, this is the most recent one, probably, 25 years ago, which was enacted to prevents public officials, which you are now, and prohibits you from receiving a gift from an interested person in conjunction with your advisory body duty. An interested person is anybody who might come before you or any other board or commission for some sort of action. So again, very rarely comes up. It doesn't prevent you from getting your private gifts from family members or anything like that. But the kind of the test I always look to on this is if you think somebody's giving you something or wants to take you out to lunch or buy you something because you're a board member and that's why they're doing it, then the light bulb should go off and ask a question about that. Again, very rarely happens, but anyway, so that's it. You got the gift law, conflict of interest, data practices, and open meeting law. Just be aware of them. And so they're out there and something happens, you say, oh, I remember the attorney said something about that, I better check with somebody. That's the only thing. We're not here to give you an expertise on what it all means, just that, to make you cognizant that they exist because of your new role. So that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Anyone? You good?
Yeah, I got one on just a conflict of interest. So I'm not the president of OAA, but I'm on the board of directors. So if they came to ask for something, I should exclude myself from voting on that.
Yes, I would say that's the best option because of, the question is, what hat are you wearing? Yeah, so yeah, that would, that
Do I
would
have to
be a
leave the room or anything, or I just abstain from the vote?
You don't have to leave the room. I
Okay.
mean, some people say that, but you don't have to, you just have to abstain from participating in the discussion or the voting. So you
No
can't discuss it.
participation, no voting.
Yeah, no voting, no discussion. And, yeah, at a minimum, keep in mind, especially, you're elected to make decisions here, right? I shouldn't have elected. You're appointed to make decisions here. That's so, and I tell the council this too, that's one of the main things you do is vote on things. So you don't want to take lightly not being able to vote on something, you want to participate. And, but there are these situations where at a minimum of an appearance of propriety is just better for you to abstain and not participate. Yeah, that's a good question.
Very good. Anyone else?
All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
Jim. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, we're nearing the end here. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Sarah. Communications. So this is, what we're talking about here is how do you get how do you get information from the city and how do you give it to us? So some suggestions are sign up for the emails on, there's a subscribe button on the City of Oakdale webpage. And then you can choose what you want to just subscribe to. Some people subscribe to everything, and then you get alerts if something's posted. Especially latest news or Parks and Rec stuff. I'd encourage you each to do that. If you need any help with that, Julie can certainly help you with that, okay? We do have a lot of social media, as you can see here, and I'm sure you're all very familiar. Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, all of it. So the links are right there, and you have access to this in your packet. City Council communications, way to stay informed regarding the City Council because you are here to represent the work of the council. They appoint you. It's really important to know what they're doing and what their priorities are. It doesn't mean you have to, of course, follow them, but you should be aware. And how you do that is follow them on Facebook. They have individual Facebook accounts. Council member meeting or council meetings, those are posted on the agenda, right where you get your agenda. The city council workshop are posted there. The YouTube video from every single meeting, whether it's commission, workshop, council, they're all on there. Annual work plan, as Sarah mentioned, we just started these last year, I think, and so we're still perfecting that. But the idea is, like she mentioned, you take a first stab at it in the fall, and then you meet with the council. And then they give you feedback, and then you finalize it. I think, have you finalized yours yet?
Our agenda
It's
tonight.
on your agenda. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to work. So we're open to suggestions for changes on that. We're still trying to figure it out. Council liaison updates, Councilmember Morcom, he's called up. I think he's on your agenda. He'll come up and give you updates about the city council or anything in city, in regards to city business. You should feel free to ask him questions too. He wants a two-way communication, of course. Annual appreciation event, we just talked about that, and reach out to your council liaison for any city business stuff. You also have the staff liaison as both of them actually. You're lucky you have two of them. Feel free to reach out to either one of them. I'm sure they'd be glad to help. Communications with the public. So this is really important because we're trying to promote involvement by the community, hence your role on this commission. Some tips to keep in mind: ensure that decisions of the body as a whole will be based on the information shared, meaning when you're talking to your neighbors, your friends, or anybody who calls or reaches out about the commission, or in general, you're talking about the work of the commission, make sure that what you're relaying is not your personal opinion, it's a decision and the body's decision. Once a decision's been made, you need to carry that decision. Ensure that any comments by the member, you do not represent the comments as the body. So you can say my personal opinion, of course, right? Of course you can do that, but that is not what you're supposed to be representing. You're representing the body. So just something to keep in mind there. Social media, feel free to engage. We love engagement with the social media. Share the relevant posts that you see, anything that you want to share with anybody you know or your subscribers. Make sure you share and you offer your opinions and support. That would be helpful. And so we're looking forward to more interaction with our social media. Support the work of the city and commissions, which is your general role. So next steps, engage people. We need more people interested in the commissions. We've got a couple new council or new commission members here. We want to keep opening it up to the members of the community. Make sure we encourage people with diverse backgrounds. Our commission will be better with more diversity. For the Parks and Rec Commission, as a commission, review Chapter 15. That is your guide. That is the laws of the city, and this Chapter 15 relates only to Parks and Rec Commission, and it goes through everything that is mandated. So if you haven't seen it or taken the time or don't know where to find it, I'm sure Julie can just send you out that section, Chapter 15. So we'll ask Julie to follow up with that, okay? Mandatory training, we just talked about that, and additional support, reach out. We are here to help, and we are here to support you. So with that, any questions?
Questions?
Thank you, very informative.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
Excellent.
having us. Again, reach out to any of us if you have any questions. That's what we're here for.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Next, we have Park System Plan presentation. Stuart Crosby.
Good morning. Good evening, commissioners.
Good evening.
Evening.
Let me get plugged in here. Okay. Oh, it takes a second. Okay, well, again, good evening. My name is Stuart Crosby. I am a landscape architect with SRF Consulting Group. We're very happy to be working with the city on the Park System Plan update. And in a minute, we'll get this. Here we go. We have the presentation up right here. We are relatively early in our process of working through the Park System Plan update. And the purpose of tonight's presentation is to provide this early update to you and to have a chance to discuss and answer any questions that you may have. I want to introduce the team. You can see me there, the project manager. Also working with me from SRF, we have Ken Grieshaber, project director, Shauna Newton and Norman Palacios, two park planners that are working with us. The purpose of this project, as you well know, is to do the first comprehensive park plan update for the city of Oakdale since 2015, when the city had the park master plan and open space stewardship plan completed. It's needed because a lot's changed in the city, as you know. Increased growth in the city, changing demographics. There's a lot of interest in new park amenities. We're going to get to that in a minute. And also both aging infrastructure, but also new infrastructure within the city. And you see that here with the Gold Line Bus Rapid Transit as one example. So kind of from all different angles, there's a real need for this park plan update. What we intend to do is to prioritize and identify improvements. We also will be providing estimates, phasing plans, timeframes, and funding opportunities for the city. And as you'll hear in a minute, public engagement is really important for this plan. And we've already received a lot of public input through an online survey that we've put up. So here's our project schedule. In short, this project started at the beginning of 2024, and we will be wrapping it up by December. So it's just a one-year project. We have gone through our data collection and demographic trends analysis. We are looking now at existing and future facilities assessments. Next week and the week after, we're going to be looking at each individual park, doing charrettes with staff to come up with ideas that will go into our concept plans, and then we'll be sharing all of that information with the public and look to get additional input. We will also be focusing specifically on Tanner's Lake. So of all the parks, we're going to be looking at every one individually, but we're going to be spending a focused amount of time on Tanner's Lake and coming up with a new master plan for Tanner's Lake Park, because that is one of the most important parks within the city and something that we've heard a lot about just in the few weeks that we've been working. And as you can see here, we do have a lot of engagement with the public. We have several stakeholder meetings with the school district, with the Oakdale Athletic Association and Oakdale Wellness 50+ that we'll be reaching out to next month. We've had one pop-up meeting. We'll have a few more where we're going to be soliciting input from the public, and then we'll be meeting in front of your commission as well as other commissions and city council. To start the project off, we looked over all of the vision and goals that are related to parks and park planning within the city, and we've tweaked and modified it a little bit as we see it fits well for our project. And these goals that I'll show you here on this page and along with the vision are things that may get modified throughout our process with input from you and from the public. But we felt it was a really good starting point to come up with 4 different goals. And let me read the vision here quickly. Oakdale envisions a community where residents' and visitors' quality of life is enhanced by a safe, clean, and accessible park system. Oakdale provides the opportunity to live a healthy, active lifestyle through a variety of recreational activities and environmental features. So we came up with 4 different goals for the plan. The first is to ensure that park improvements are equitable and respond to future recreational trends and the needs and preferences of a diverse community of all ages, cultures, abilities, and incomes. That's really looking at future facilities. Goal 2 is to maintain parks in a high-quality, environmentally and fiscally responsible manner that provides a safe and clean space for all users, looking specifically at existing facilities. Our third goal is to ensure that park facilities and open spaces are accessible to all physical abilities and income levels. And the fourth goal is to create new and improved parks that strengthen new developments and connect to transit facilities and the greater bicycle and pedestrian system. So 4 different goals that encompass what we intend to do with this plan, looking at a lot of the good work that's already been done with the plan and hoping to improve upon that and make it a little bit more holistic for the years to come. Specific to the public engagement plan, I'll run through this quickly. We have put up online a preliminary park system survey that was put up for 3 weeks during late March and early April, and we received 250 responses to that. We still have online a map that people can provide comments at specific parks. Maybe you've all done that. I hope you have. If you
Yeah,
haven't,
it took a little bit getting used to.
yeah, it
It's a
does.
great
I know
tool, though. It's a good
it is
tool.
powerful. It
Yeah.
is a little frustrating sometimes. Anyway, we've received over 80 comments already, and that will continue to stay up until probably for another couple, 3 weeks until we are ready to switch it over to show the park concepts that we will be developing. We were featured in the Mayor's Monday Morning Minute in early March. Hannah and I had a pop-up at the Oakdale Marketplace. We were able to speak with and reach out to about 60 individuals, which is fantastic. We're looking forward to stakeholder meetings, additional online surveys, additional pop-ups, and then a public review of the draft report. So as you can see here, just a word cloud. I think these are fun to look at, not very helpful in the sense, but what that summarizes is the public engagement to date. As I mentioned, we had 250 respondents. The interactive map is still up. We have a second survey coming. What have we heard so far? The top 6 items that I've put right here for the entire park system: install a water feature, update playgrounds with new playground and/or new playground equipment, improve playing fields, Tanner's Lake Park needs updating, add more pickleball courts, and add accessible and inclusive playground amenities. I think the inclusive word there is really important because not only have we heard that in relation to playgrounds, but also to parks in general, to make parks accessible for people to get into and around. On the right there is just an image of the interactive map with the different dots that people have been leaving. So we have 4 slides here just to show you at a high level some of the components of that survey. The first, one of the first questions is, which Oakdale Park System amenities have you or your family used in the past year? And as you can see up here, trails, playgrounds, Discovery Center, farmers market, hiking trails, community events, and picnic facilities round out the top few. If you do not regularly use parks, this question says, facilities or recreation programs, what barriers do you feel prevent you from using them? The top, what there was, parks do not provide amenities that I want to use, followed by, I am not aware of what is available. I use amenities in other cities. I do not feel safe, and program times are inconvenient. Those are the top few. And third question we asked, what improvements to outdoor recreation facilities would you or your family like to see in the future? And as you can see here, the top few include interactive water play features, splash pad, misters, add more playground facilities or improve existing facilities, add accessible inclusive playground amenities, expand the farmers market, and pickleball tennis courts and disc golf course. Those are the top few right there. And then the last one we have here is, what is your favorite city park to visit in Oakdale? I don't think this is too surprising. When you look at the top 5, you have Richard Walton Park, Oakdale Nature Preserve, East Side Park, Tanner's Lake Park, the Discovery Center, and Eberly and Oakdale Bark Park. So we were impressed and excited with the responses that we received. Of the 28 parks within the system, we received specific comments on 18 parks, which is good. And we're using that information as we prepare for our next round of analysis and going forward with park staff to look at each park and come up with concepts. So that was a brief update of what we've done so far and really what our objective is throughout the next several months. And I look forward to communicating with you and hearing your feedback. And I think we have a few minutes if you have any questions or comments.
Anyone?
I just think it's really great work, and I'm excited to watch the progress, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent tool, and we'll get a lot of information out of that. So, excellent job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Stuart. Hannah,
Welcome.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Need to go through the approval of our 2024 work plan. So, Julie, would you like to?
Sure. Hopefully, everybody had an opportunity to take a look at that. Nothing has changed since we worked on that last year, and also discussed it with the council last November at our dinner. I met with the city council last month, and we talked about it a little bit more. So it's back here to for you to formally approve it.
Has everybody had a chance to look at this and take it in? All right. Any questions? Could I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Carrie, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jan, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion for the approval of the 2024 work plan passes. Thank you. Moving on to our staff updates. Jeff, you want to start?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. So spring's finally here. We got adult softball league starting a week from Thursday on the 25th, next week, weather permitting, hopefully. Crews have been busy. We pulled in 108 picnic tables in the last month and a half, went through all of them, we've made repairs, painted them, got them back out in the parks. We have pulled all the park signs. We usually do it every 3 to 5 years, depending on what condition they are. Sand them all down, repaint them, stain them, seal them, put them back. So I think we're on our last 2 sitting in the shop today, which I don't think we're gonna get on infields tomorrow, so that'll probably be, get them done and get them back out, and they're all done. So crews have been busy. Had them out a couple weeks ago. We did all of our annual, we do it twice a year, our tot lot and playground inspections, went through that. Been busy with setting up meetings with the school district, as Mark and me both know. I've been pretty frustrated with that, and we don't have permits for their fields yet. For some reason this year, I'm finding out more information. I meet with them tomorrow. It's just been a struggle to get that information out of them. So I'll find a little more out tomorrow, and hopefully I can come back with a list of fields that we need or what's available. So it's usually done in January, and this year it was not. So sort of got the runaround on that from them. It's been frustrating. So I know Mark's frustrated. They have schedules to make. We're usually done. They've had that process completed by now. So I'm hoping tomorrow I get that for him. And other than that, to stand for any questions, we're just leveling we're out on all the infields. We're doing land leveling, grooming, pulling material back from the edges and getting the fields ready to go. So hopefully next week it dries out a little bit. We'll do some dethatching and get them swept and get them painted and good to go for the start of the year. So
That would be lovely.
so yeah, stand for any questions.
No, I think, anyone? I guess, I think
Thank you.
I just want to mention one thing.
Yep.
Y'all did a great job on the sign at Tanner's Lake. the
Yeah,
boulevard.
so it was down for quite a while, and when we took it down, it's split in the middle. I talked to the company we ordered it from. They ordered a new one. We replaced it. You pay too much for them, and that sign isn't that old. So, and being any of them, but more so being a former mayor and council member and someone who did so much for the city, so I was glad to get that back up and get it in place. And,
Yeah, it looks great.
So, thank you, appreciate it.
all right. Anyone else? Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Julie?
Thanks, Commissioners. I do have our March, April update, starting with summer programming. Our early summer program guide is now available online, and registrations will begin on April 25th, which is a week from Thursday. I included that in your packet, so hopefully you had an opportunity to take a look at that. We've got some new programming and fun stuff coming up. We're also working on finalizing our full program guide, which will be mailed to residents in mid-May, and that's the full newsletter, which includes kids and adults and everything else that we want to add. So watch for that in mid-May in your mailboxes. Our Best Snow Sculpture of Oakdale contest, we received 6 creative snow animal entries, despite really having no snow this winter, except for like those last couple days, and we were lucky to get 6, so that was great. Congrats to the Brown family for submitting the winning snow sculpture, appropriately named Barely Winter, and I included that picture in there too. That was pretty creative. I especially like the little Coke bottle that was sitting next to the bear, so that was really cute. Our inter-garage sale, that was held on Saturday, April 6th, and that was from 9 to 1. Amazing turnout for that this year. We had between 700 and 800 shoppers. So, yeah, it was really great to see. Yeah. The only thing we did different, I moved back the weekend, 1 week, and it really made a dramatic difference. So, yeah, absolutely. So we're considering adding an additional sale this fall. We had a lot of requests from shoppers and vendors as well. So possibly watch for that this fall. Our community walk is underway. We have, well, it was 100, now it's up to 130. So they're signing up, that's coming in. Hot and heavy rewards will remain the same for 2024.
How do you track your miles on that? Do you just send them in, or what do you do?
So you have to record your miles every day you walk, and you can drop those slips at the Discovery Center. So we've got 2 different locations there. And then we've got our Artist of the Month, Marilyn Stevens. She uses a variety of mediums in addition to watercolor. She uses oil and acrylic. So she's a returner. She comes every year. She's a vendor in our art fair too. So really popular artist that we are happy to work with every year. Park cleanup is coming up. That is next week, scheduled for the week of April 22nd. Currently we have approximately 70 sign up. I'm still looking for a few more. We do have a few parks available, so if you are interested, certainly give us a call and we can get you signed up and ready to go for that. We've got our upcoming Junior Master Gardeners class coming up, and that is on Sunday, April 21st, and that's from 10 to 11 at the Discovery Center. Kids come in and decorate pots and plant seeds, and they work with Master Gardeners on that. Give us a call to reserve a spot. As of this afternoon, we had 7 remaining spots, so if you're interested, get in there quick before that one fills up. We also have a Red Cross blood drive, and that'll stop at the Discovery Center on Thursday, April 25th, so that's also a week from Thursday. They'll be there from 9 to 3, and you can make an appointment at redcross.org. It looked like there's plenty of openings and opportunities for that if you're interested. We've got our pickleball classes coming up. They will resume on Wednesday evening, so that was an error in my update there. So it's Wednesdays next month at Tanner's. And due to increasing demand, we're offering additional sessions in June and July. So the May class is full, so sign up for that June and July.
Oh,
Yep, that pickleball.
yep.
And then lastly, we've got employment opportunities. We're still hiring for our summer recreation program instructors. So we are hiring 8 this summer. We've got 5 returners, so we're looking for 3 more. We do have some applications, but we would certainly welcome more. So you can check that out on www.oakdalemn.gov. So that's all I have. I stand for any questions that anybody might have.
Questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, commissioner updates. Okay, let's start with Glenn, anyway.
You sure?
Let's start her up.
I just want to say that citywide garage sales are set up with the Maplewood Oakdale Lions Club. They will be in the first weekend in May. I think it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So if you're interested in participating, it's free, and you can check out our Facebook page, Maplewood Oakdale Lions Club, to sign up and get registered.
Great, thank you. Jan?
I'm just going to refer any interest in Wellness 50+ activities to look in the Oakdale update. We always have a little section there, and it kind of explains how to sign up for those activities and go from there.
Right. Mark?
No,
No?
nothing this week.
Jerry?
Nothing this month.
Jan?
I don't have anything either.
Okay, I just, when we get into this, our meetings, or going to recreation events, we're gonna be naming commissioners or volunteering to get to each one. Julie's gonna, you want to tell them what you want to do
Sure,
with that?
yeah, this is in regards to the work plan that we're working on. I know you guys wanted to set that up and put my glasses on here. Do some commissioner education. So each month, I was thinking I would work with Jeff and we can come up with some opportunities that we think would be best each month and send that out to you guys. And you can choose what you would like. So we'll just do that via email, and then we can get it set up that way, and then we can discuss next month.
Perfect.
Sound okay?
I'd like to have at least one commissioner at each of these events, you know. So, yeah, that's up and coming. Thank you on that. That's really all I had on that. So let's go to Councilmember Morcom. How you doing?
Doing well.
Great.
Thank you, commissioners, for having me. I've got to write notes. So there's a lot going on, as always. Some of these you may know about, but on May 7th, we've got a development tour that the city is hosting. Got a big bus, all commission members are invited, and we've got 14+ developments in the city going right now. And it's going to be a chance to take a look at everything that's changing in the city of Oakdale, to ask questions, to see what's happening. So that'll be good. May 21st, I'm not sure if this has been formally announced yet, but I know they're planning a groundbreaking for the new Willowbrook Park, and they're going to obviously invite our Parks and Rec Commission to be a part of it. So on May 21st, once that's formalized, they'll get the details out. I believe 4 p.m. is what they're looking at. But that's going to be a big event for the city. It's going to be a big park. After that, Summerfest is just around the corner. So if you can believe it, we're trying to plug and promote the parade that's going to be coming up. This is our 50th year. You know, Oakdale was incorporated as a city in 1974, so they've got some new 50th anniversary logos, and we want to have a big parade, we want to have a big event. That requires volunteers and promoting it. So whatever you all can do within your networks is going to be important. And like they were saying during other presentations, the more you can share on social media, the more you can share in your networks and neighborhoods, the better event it's going to be. Also, in terms of communication, and they talked about it a little bit earlier, happy to be a resource to anyone on the commission when it comes to city council matters, budgets, whatever's the hot button subject of the month. But when it comes to ideas you have relating to Parks and Rec or parks equipment, you all see a lot in neighboring cities and when you go play sports or your kids play sports in other areas. So just to encourage you all, whenever you see something new or you have an idea, feel free to copy me on it, but I am not the expert in Parks and Rec. I'm not the expert in park maintenance. So let Julie know if you see new equipment or new style of turf that's being used in other areas. Let Jeff know. They know a lot, but it's just great to hear different opinions and see what's out there. So keep the communication coming. And then the final thing I will say, this park plan, this park master plan is a big deal for the city. I get really excited about what it represents for the future of the parks and how we invest and what we do. It could go a lot of different ways, but the way it should go is the way that the residents want to see it go. So anytime in the coming weeks, there's going to be more conversation. They're going to be coming back to the commission meetings here. They're going to be coming to workshops. But the more feedback we can get, the better. And especially these surveys that are open to the public and are staying open. I know I've personally shared them with the principals of Skyview and Tartan, Castle, Eagle Point, but I haven't shared them with OAA. I haven't shared them with all the different groups in town. So the more people that can see it and provide their feedback, the better it's going to be.
I shot an email out to all the OA board that it was open and
Perfect. Good, good.
Yeah.
So those are the updates I had. Any questions from any of you?
Commissioners, any questions?
Is there, I already know the answer because now I know I've seen it, information about the parade and opportunities to engage that we can just easily share out? Has that stuff started going out? And now that I asked the question, I believe I've seen it.
Well, they started sharing the details, but I think, Julie, it's the recreation group that's still running the parade, right?
Correct, yes. And Laura Linsmeyer is the coordinator, and when she gets to that point, she will certainly make that available.
Okay,
But it
great.
should be very soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yep.
Great.
I'm sorry, one other thing I want to, are you aware of the Summerfest committee? There's an organization called OSCO, O-S-C-O, and they have been posting quite a bit
Yeah,
on their site about the parade and Summerfest in
Right.
particular.
right.
So if
Okay.
you're looking for any help, there's,
And just stuff that I can easily push, yeah.
or they have links where you can send them questions or whatever, so,
Thank you.
yeah.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? All right, thank
Good.
you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like that should do it for the evening. So let's get a motion for adjournment.
All motion.
Jan, can I get a second?
Second.
Carrie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be May 21st, 2024, and this meeting is adjourned. Have a great night.